So far, when we've been creating sheet music from artwork, we've begun with straight lines that we can use as a staff. However, there's no reason why we would want to keep those lines straight. We can bend and curve those lines as much as we want. To begin this piece of artwork, I'm starting with lines that are curved. I've started with the colour blue and its natural complement is the colour orange. I've added some orange and it will be this shape that tells us where the notes are going to go on our piece of sheet music. The circle in the lower left corner is immediately recognisable as a note. It's positioned on the line closest to the top, and if this was a piece of sheet music, that musical note could be a D. Although at this stage my focus is creating a piece of abstract art that has elements of sheet music. Therefore, I must focus on colour and form. That circle in the bottom left asks for your focus because it's different to the other parts of the image. I add another much larger circle that attempts to move your focus away from the smaller circle in the bottom left. That larger circle demands to be looked at, but its subdued colours means that it relies on size in order to get the viewer's attention. No matter what I add to the image, the main focus will be the relationship between those circles. There are places of contrast that make this piece of abstract artwork interesting. The curves of the circle contrast with the angular orange shapes. That difference creates balance. It makes the composition more interesting. We know this is going to be a piece of sheet music, and we know that the circle in the bottom left will be the first note. I've placed circles along those orange shapes, and we will be able to turn those circles into musical notes. You will notice the image also includes a small yellow circle. I could have chosen to see it as a note within the sequence, but instead I chose to leave it out. The process can lead to many different directions, and I could add these circles in a different way and it would lead to different results. This is because the image has enough information to begin a piece of music, but it doesn't try to define every aspect. It would be possible to create multiple pieces of music from the same image, and each would sound different. I've used the placement of the circles to tell me where to place the notes on the sheet music. At this stage, each note is the same length. They are all played for the same amount of time. The only variation is pitch. When the note is high up, the pitch is high, and when it's low, the pitch is low. Let's have a listen. The pitch of the notes on both pieces of sheet music is the same. All I've changed is the length of time each note is held for, and I've also added some pauses in the music. You'll notice on the sheet music where I didn't change the length of the notes, each bar of music contains 4 notes. If we were in a time signature other than 4/4, we would fit a different number of notes in each bar, but when it comes to 4/4 time, you can fit 4 quarter notes into a single bar. When the notes are faster, you can fit more of them into a single bar. When you have a bar like this, you know that those notes are going to be faster because more of them fit into a single bar. The length of time given to all of these notes combined is the same as what we would give to a bar that was just 4 quarter notes. As I play this next audio, look at each bar as it plays. Notice how it's faster when we reach a bar that has lots of black notes. Let's have a listen. I've added some chords and a bass line. Let's hear how it sounds. small piece of music is a beginning, but I also created another image for this project knowing it would become another piece of music. I began with curved lines that would become my musical staff. This is basically an abstract picture of sheet music. It contains some things that are recognisable in a piece of sheet music, yet it is barely recognisable because its form has been abstracted. The first thing we want to do is use this image to decide where our musical notes should go. Let's add some circles. I've used the circles to tell me where to place the notes on the staff. It's a little harder because the lines that we are using as the staff are now abstracted and curved. We've looked at other images where the lines have been straight and it was much easier to see where to place the notes. However, we do have our sheet music showing the notes that came from this image. At this stage, these notes are all quarter notes. There is no variation in the length of time each note is played for. The only variation is in pitch. Let's listen to how it sounds. The notes are in the same pitch as before. They are in the same place on the lines, but I've changed the length of each note and I've added some pauses. You'll notice that this bar contains many notes, so you know the notes played in this bar are going to be fast. You'll notice that the bar next to it has one hollow note and 4 notes close together. That hollow note is a half note. In 4/4 time you can fit 2 of these notes in a single bar. So if you have a bar with 1 of these in and then 4 notes, you know this bar is going to be a long note and then faster notes. See if you can hear the changes when I play the audio. I've added some chords and a bass line. Let's have a listen. The thing I most like about 4/4 time is the way it fits with American names for each note. A whole note fits 1 bar of 4/4 time. 2 half notes fit 1 bar of 4/4 time. 4 quarter notes fit 1 bar of 4/4 time. 8 eighth notes fit 1 bar. 16 16th notes fit 1 bar. 32 32nd notes fit 1 bar. I like how the theory is structured around this time signature. It is a time signature that is used so much that I've also heard it referred to as common time. We now have 2 short pieces of music that can be expanded into a larger piece of music. I then wanted to experiment with different instruments. Here is the finished track being played in Ableton Live.